Hello. It's been a hot minute, I know, but to be honest, I have just not been doing anything lately to stop me from making this video. I'm just lazy and prefer uploading the slop that I shovel onto my second channel. But with JJK Season 3 coming out, I decided to finally sit down and do something with this channel. Now, even though I saw the JJK movie, I know there are a massive amount of people who didn't, so I'm guessing there's going to be a pretty large influx of JJK videos coming out. So why not become a part of the graph? So yes, this is the video hinted at so long ago about Hikari, probably my second favorite character in the series, up there with Nanami, Takaba, and Mekamaru. Three other characters I fully intend on making videos on, especially Mekamaru, since I just really want to talk about him. But like before, in the hopes that this intro isn't already too long, let's get into it. Now, Hikari is obviously hinted at multiple times throughout the story before his first actual appearance, but for most of that, it's either just glaze or slander. It's whatever. And honestly, I just want to talk about the things we actually see him do, his actual appearance. So that's what we'll do. When we first see Hikari, it's only a little after the Culling Games begin. Yuji and Megumi infiltrate an underground Jujutsu fighting ring that Hikari runs alongside Kirara. We see that even though Hikari will fix some of these fights, he finds them extraordinarily boring to watch. We only see this ideology in full fruition when Yuji confronts him and he tries to enlist his help. But Hikari only sees a boring, unmotivated underclassman. And he shows there's almost nothing else he hates more than that. I'm noticing that there are a lot of fights in this series that get started because they find the other person boring. Never mind. Anyways, through this brief fight between Yuji and Hikari, we see that Hikari lived for what he calls fever. He believes that every person alive has an inherent fever, but for those whose fever is weak or cold, he can't bring himself to care about them. He lives for the thrill of the fight and pushes himself to the absolute limit in every way he can. The closer a fight is, the more he enjoys it. So when he sees Yuji as nothing but a cog in the wheel, he finds him boring and fully intends on beating Yuji until he eats from a straw. Only when Yuji finally shows his immense willpower and inability to lay down and give up, he almost immediately stops fighting and agrees to help. It shows just how much he respects those not with just physical prowess, but with those with the strength to keep fighting. Hikari is pretty regularly described and shown to be a delinquent. He's rude, abrasive, and cocky, but he doesn't overhype himself. He knows his limits and he knows he can lose, but he never let himself, which is why he is so powerful. He respects those above him with the drive to only grow stronger like Yaga and Gojo, both of which he seems genuinely saddened to hear about what has happened to both of them. The next we see Hikari is in his fight with Charles. In this fight, he only shows more of that need to see the fever in his opponent's eyes, going as far as to provoke Charles in order to bring it out of him. So it shows that even if the fever is not immediately apparent within his opponent, he will do whatever it takes to bring it out of him. And during this fight, Hikari opens his domain, which means I now need to explain it. I'll give a sort of rudimentary explanation. Kind of. I don't know. It explains everything well enough, but I'm not gonna start explaining like every little tiny niche. I might. Who knows? We'll see. When Hikari opens his domain, the rules of it are immediately beamed to the mind of his opponent so they understand every aspect of it. The main component of his domain is how it functions similarly to a pachinko machine. Hikari's domain will effectively spin for an outcome, which can either be nothing or a bonus for Hikari that we are yet to see. On its own, the probability of winning is 1 to 239, but in order for it not to be nearly impossible for Hikari to win, there are modifiers. Even outside of his domain, he is capable of summoning pachinko balls and train doors that he can control and use in fights. While within his domain, these will glow a certain color to show the now increased chance to the jackpot chance. If it glows green, it's only a small increase on jackpot chance. If it glows red, it's a larger increase of jackpot chance, and if it glows gold, it is a massive increase on jackpot chance. And if it glows rainbow, then it means it will be a guaranteed jackpot. Along with all of this, there is a consecutive color multiplier that if he throws an attack where it glows the same color 4 times in a row, it is also a guaranteed jackpot. Once he has increased his jackpot chance with a few attacks, he will progress to a Ricci scenario, of which there are 4. We only see 2 in full detail, but it's quite easy to figure out what the other 2 are. Hikari's domain is based fully upon his favorite TV show, and every Riichi scenario appears to be a scene from said TV show. The weakest of the Riichi scenarios is the transit card Riichi. This is where we see the main character from the TV show attempting to make it to the train just on time for work. Depending on how much jackpot chance Hikari has accumulated and how good his luck is, will decide the outcome of the situation. With bad luck and bad jackpot chance, the main character will be unable to make it to the car station and unable to make it to work. But with good luck and good jackpot chance, he will make it through. The second Riichi scenario, with a chance still on the lower side, is Seat Struggle Riichi, which you can probably put together what it is from information from the first. The very same with the third Riichi scenario, Potty Emergency Riichi, which seems to be on the higher end of jackpot chance. And with the final Riichi scenario, with an 80% chance of success, even without an increased jackpot chance, is Friday Night Final Train Riichi. This is the only other scenario we see in detail where the main character must wait for a train to leave and see where the heroine of the story is still waiting on the other side for him. It's pretty easy to assume this regularly ends in jackpot. Now, speaking of jackpots, there was one small piece I did not mention before about them, and that is the fact that they stack. With each and every jackpot Hikari accumulates, the faster his domain spins through Riichi scenarios, and the higher jackpot chance he attains. So provided Hikari ends up with some better than average luck, he will be on an almost permanent state of jackpot, which we are yet to see what that actually means. And that is his domain. It's easily one of the most complicated and out there domains in the series, but it is quite interesting. And honestly, I loved figuring out and writing down all these small aspects of it. But with that, we can move on to what I assume most of you here have been waiting for, which is Hikari's fight with Kashimo. After Kashimo easily dispatches of Panda, Hikari makes his presence known, still red hot after his jackpot with Charles. This is when we see what Hikari's jackpot really does, which is give him an infinite supply of cursed energy and a reflexive reverse curse technique since he never learned it. So this means that, following a jackpot, Hikari is immortal for the next 4 minutes and 11 seconds. In the battle between Hikari and Kashimo, both of them are being constantly pushed their limits, and both of them enjoy every second of it. Hikari finally finds an opponent which has just as much fever as he does, and the both of them are continuously applauding and complimenting each other throughout the fight. Eventually, it ends with Hikari overcoming Kashimo through sheer brute force and inability to die, so Kashimo agrees to help in ending the Culling Games. And after that, there really isn't much of note to talk about. Hikari does end up fighting Uraume, but the fight, for the most part, is just more of the same. And because it doesn't go too much in depth, I really don't have much to talk about. Does that mean the video's over? No. Similarly to the Higuruma video, I would like to do some speculation about Hikari's potential. Now, Hikari, I think, has realized a large amount of his power, but I think it'd be stupid to think he has nowhere to go from here. The guy hardly goes to school, which probably means he isn't learning a whole lot about where he could go with his powers, so I don't think it'd be improbable to see him expanding his arsenal of summonable weapons. I'm keeping that one in. Maybe he could summon train rails that could wrap around his opponents or create difficult to maneuver obstacles. He could even go as far as summoning an entire train to throw at them if he wanted to, but Hikari is clearly very confident in his hand-to-hand capabilities, which he's justified in. He's probably up there with Yuji and Maki in terms of physical prowess and technique. But in a world where binding vows are regularly used, he could very well sacrifice aspects of his technique to greatly increase the power of others. Maybe by sacrificing the ability to get the rainbow rolls, he could increase the base chance of his jackpot. There are really an infinite amount of things he could do with a domain, and technique as complex as his. One thing I could see is Hikari not only making himself immortal for those 4 minutes 11 seconds, but everyone around him, provided he learned how to output RCT, which you probably very easily could, effectively making him and everyone around him immortal. This would just make him the most overpowered fighter and tank and support all in one, capable of handling all fronts with only a single domain expansion. In short, Hikari is broken overpowered, even more so than Gojo or Sukuna. There's a reason why Gojo believes that Hikari will one day surpass him. But with that, I think I'm done. I don't think this will be anywhere near as long as the Higuruma video, but I do think this will probably be a bit better and just have higher quality since I've been making videos for almost a year since I made that one. I have no clue what the next video will be. I would like to make that Mechamaru video as soon as possible, or maybe a Takuba one that'd be a bit shorter and easier. Who knows? Hopefully there won't be as, as massive of a break between these two as there were between, this and the last one. So, with that, hopefully I will be seeing you soon.